While everyone was busy arguing about whether Nikola Jokic deserved a fourth MVP or if Giannis was finally ready to reclaim his throne, something incredible was happening in Oklahoma City. Something so quiet, so methodical, that most of the basketball world didn't even notice until it was too late. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander wasn't just having a great season, he was orchestrating the most silent takeover in modern NBA history. And by the time June rolled around, he had accomplished something that legends like Stephen Curry, Kevin Durant, and even Jokic himself have never done. The numbers alone should have been enough to wake everyone up. 32.7 points per game. Let that sink in for a second. In an era where elite scorers are putting up huge numbers, SGA led the entire league in scoring while shooting efficiently and playing elite defense. But here's the kicker. He wasn't just padding stats on a mediocre team. The Thunder finished with a franchise record 68 wins and 14 losses. 68 wins! That's not just good, that's historically dominant. The last time we saw a record like that was the 2016 Warriors, and we all know how that story played out. But while Golden State was flashy and loud about their success, Oklahoma City was doing something completely different. They were winning games, breaking records, and climbing toward the top of the MVP race without anyone really paying attention until it was too late. And here's where things get wild. The MVP race that everyone thought was between Jokic and Giannis, SGA didn't just sneak into the conversation. He completely took it over. After finishing as the runner-up the year before, watching someone else lift that trophy, he came back with a vengeance. The voting wasn't even close when the dust settled. He edged out Jokic, who was going for his fourth MVP, and Giannis, who many thought was due for another one. This wasn't a sympathy vote or a narrative-driven decision. This was pure basketball dominance being recognized at the highest level. The kid from Hamilton, Ontario, who was traded away from the Clippers before he could even establish himself, had just beaten two of the most dominant players of this generation for the league's most prestigious individual award. But that's only part of the story. What happened next is something that hasn't been accomplished in 12 years. Not since LeBron James in 2013 has a single player won both the regular season MVP and the Finals MVP in the same year. Think about that for a minute. Durant never did it, Curry never did it, Kawhi Leonard never did it, Giannis never did it, even Jokic, with all his MVPs, never pulled off this double. But SGA, he made it look almost easy. While everyone was focused on whether the Thunder were too young, too inexperienced, too small market to make a real championship run, he was quietly preparing to prove all the doubters wrong in the most dramatic way possible. The championship run itself was pure theater. After dominating the regular season, the Thunder entered the playoffs as the #1 seed in the loaded Western Conference. But championships aren't won on paper, and Oklahoma City had to prove they belonged on the biggest stage. The finals against Indiana went the distance, 7 games of pure basketball drama. Game 7, at home, with everything on the line. And when the pressure was at its highest, when the lights were brightest, SGA delivered 29 points and 12 assists in a 103-91 victory that clinched the Thunder's first championship in the Oklahoma City era. The building was electric, the city was going crazy, and Shai was standing in the middle of it all, holding the Finals MVP trophy like he'd been there 1,000 times before. Here's what makes this achievement so damn special. SGA became just the 4th player in NBA history to win the MVP award, the Finals MVP award, and the scoring title in the same season. The 4th player ever. We're talking about joining a club that includes some of the most legendary names in basketball history. Michael Jordan did it twice. Shaquille O'Neal did it once. Bob McAdoo did it back in the 70s. That's it. That's the entire list. And now Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the guy who was supposed to be a nice complimentary piece on a rebuilding Thunder team, has just etched his name alongside the greatest individual seasons in NBA history. He didn't just have a great year, he had one of the most complete, dominant seasons we've ever witnessed. But here's what makes this takeover truly unique: the way he did it. In an NBA where superstars are constantly in the headlines for drama, social media beefs, trade demands, and locker room controversy, SGA was the exact opposite. No Twitter feuds, no cryptic Instagram posts, no anonymous sources leaking stories about his frustrations. He just showed up, worked harder than everyone else, and let his game do all the talking. While other stars were making headlines for all the wrong reasons, He was quietly becoming the best player in the world without anyone really noticing until it was too late. What separates this takeover from others we've seen is the completeness of it. When LeBron took over the league, it was loud and dramatic. When Curry revolutionized basketball, everyone saw it coming from a mile away. When Giannis dominated, he was already being talked about as a future superstar for years. But SGA's ascension was different. He wasn't the consensus #1 pick who was expected to be great. He wasn't the flashy rookie who immediately captured everyone's attention. He was the quiet, steady player who improved every single year until suddenly he was standing on top of the basketball world, holding every trophy that matters and making it look effortless. The scary part for the rest of the league? He's only 26 years old. This isn't the peak of a veteran superstar trying to capture one last championship. This is a young player who just proved he's capable of complete basketball dominance. And he's entering what should be the prime years of his career. The Thunder aren't going anywhere. Their core is locked up long-term. Their front office has shown they know how to build around their star. And SGA has proven that he's not just capable of individual excellence, he's capable of leading a championship team while maintaining the same quiet confidence that got him here. Looking back at this season, it's incredible how perfectly everything aligned. The individual accolades, the team success, the championship run, the way he handled the pressure, it was all flawless. While everyone was debating who the best player in the league was, he was busy proving it on the court night after night. While other superstars were dealing with drama and distractions, he was focused solely on basketball. While small market teams were supposed to be at a disadvantage, he was turning that narrative completely upside down. The most impressive part might be how he managed to stay true to himself throughout the entire process. Success changes people. Fame changes people. Championship-level expectations change people. But Shai Gilgeous-Alexander remained exactly the same humble, hardworking player he'd always been. Even as he was re-rating NBA history, he never let the moment get too big, he never got caught up in the hype, he just continued to approach every game, every practice, every interview with the same professionalism and focus that had gotten him to that point. So, is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander the quietest takeover in league history? After everything that happened this past season, after witnessing one of the most complete individual campaigns we've ever seen, after watching him lead his team to a championship while capturing every major award along the way, the answer is undeniable. This wasn't just quiet, this was silent, methodical, and absolutely devastating to anyone who stood in his way. And the most terrifying part for the competition? He's just getting started. The quiet kid from Oklahoma City has announced himself as the league's premier superstar, and he did it in the most understated way possible. The takeover is complete, and somehow, most people are still trying to figure out how it happened.